Alright guys, so I'm back working on the car after about a month, so I'm not too sure where I've left off with filming. I think I was having issues with the camera at the time, and so I couldn't film too much. So yeah, as you can see, it's in a bit of a state. The subframe is out once again. We got the sump under here. This is actually a new sump, or second hand. And yeah, we're having a few oil leaks, and yeah, just sorting all those out, and a few other things that were kind of pissing me off a little bit with the car. So on this upper intake manifold, there's kind of 3 vacuum ports here. Now that sits like right up against the downpipe, and it's really fucking hard to get this V-band clamp on and off, and yeah, so I'm just going to cut those off and then get the bro to weld it up. And also he's going to weld up a fitting into our intercooler pipe here, and that way we can hook up the wastegate and the electronic boost controller and all that good shit. So that's kind of the game plan. So the sump's pretty much got to go back in now. There you go. So I've cleaned around the edges just with a wire brush, and I had to straighten it out a little bit because it had been bent when the guy took it off, which is not really a big deal. So I've gone ahead and cleaned up the, like, underneath the engine where the oil sump sits, and put all the studs back in place. Now what I'm going to do is just clean all the dust out of this, and then chuck some silicone around the edges, and then we can slap the sump back on.
Come on, yeah, bounce with it. Just bounce with it. Come on, yeah, bounce with it. Just bounce with it.
What a fucking stitch up. So I should have test fitted the sump before I put the silicone on, but it looks like my RX-7 has 1 extra stud than the sump is suited for, so must be from like a different series or something. Maybe, I think it might actually be from a series 7 FD. So yeah, that's a pain in the ass. Right fucking there. That's where there should be one. So I might just try to drill that out real quick, and yeah. So I just drilled out those holes real quickly.
Just bounce with it. Come on, yeah, bounce with it. Come on, yeah, bounce with it. Just bounce with it. Come on, yeah, bounce with it. Just bounce with it.
Alright, so just finished putting the sump on. So yeah, I've just loosely bolted it up, and I'm going to let it dry overnight. That way you get a better seal. I think it says an hour on the instructions, but yeah, I'm just going to go to bed. It's about 12 o'clock. But you can see it's pretty fucking thick on there, so hopefully it seals. I was planning on actually doing a pressure test on the oil system once it's all bolted up, and do that before I put the subframe in case I have to fucking take off that sump again for any reason. Cool, so I let the gasket maker set for an hour last night, and then bolted it up to the actual torque settings, and yeah, that way you just get a better seal. And so now what I'm going to do is, I've got these aftermarket solid engine mounts, and they just go onto the sump, so I'll chuck those on shortly, and then we'll pressure test the sump and see if it's actually leaking still, and then yeah, then we're good to chuck the subframe on. So I've somewhat managed to wrestle the subframe into place. I'm just going to slide the bolts through the control arm. So, and then I'll raise it up and actually bolt it up to the chassis. And yeah, sounds rather simple, but fuck, I'll tell you what, this is hard work, man. And then needs to go to the steering rack, and then one of the oh fuck, I don't know what it's called, but one of the things is disconnected. So yeah, bit of work to do, pretty hard work. Perfect, that's lined up. So both the engine mounts are in now. Can finally take that fucking chain off, the hideous thing, and then do the wheel alignment. Yeah.
Come on, yeah, bounce with it. Just bounce with it. Come on, yeah, bounce.
Cool, so I've just lobbed off some of the vacuum line fittings. So they were completely getting in the way of my V-band clamp for the turbo. This here. So it was just completely interfering. I couldn't get it on and off, and it was just pissing me off. Alright team, so everything's ready to be put back together now. So first and foremost, we've got this, I think that's a lower intake manifold, so that can go on first. And then we can start hooking up the injectors with this secondary rail, and yeah, piece that back together. So I've been highly considering heat wrapping the exhaust manifold, and yeah, I don't know how I feel about that, because I can tell it's going to be an absolute cunt just by like looking at the kind of configuration of the runners. Like there's so much overlap, so to kind of like do it individually would be a mess. So I've never done it before, but I might just give it a go and see how it turns out. I might not film this part, so because I think I'm gonna trial it heaps of different times until I get it the way I like, or I might just fucking give up. So you'll find out in the next few seconds. I've only been at it for about 30 minutes or so, but it's just so fucking tedious. I didn't think it would be this. I knew it would be hard, but I didn't know it would be this hard. So I might just slap it on, and yeah, if it starts getting way too hot, I'm getting pretty good at pulling off the turbo manifold, so I'll just fucking whip it off again. So yeah.
Just bounce with it. Come on, yeah, bounce with it. Just bounce with it. Come on, yeah, bounce with it.
Finally got Shay round. Yep, so the exhaust manifold's on, and then we can chuck on the turbo and all that shit. A lot of room under here. That much. Yeah, cheers, boss. Just
Got it?
Yeah.
Ah! Not run over the sensors.
Okay, kind of, I'll take that. Sweet. And somehow.
Sweet, so we got that on.
Oh no, I've lost. Oh, there it is. Now just for the other end and the wastegate, because that's plumbed back into the exhaust. And then we can chuck these sensors back on, get them out of the way so they don't fucking break them. Make sure this one's tight. Nice. So we're just having a few issues getting the return line back on. It's just not lining up. Screwing onto the fitting.
I think that's either...
What?
I can't really turn with my hand, but I think it's on.
Oh yeah?
I think.
You reckon? I don't know what it is, eh? Fuck, that's getting destroyed.
We're just hooking up the boost controller now, the back lines.
Yeah. Just kind of roughly doing it for now because we're gonna have to go pull this out again and heat wrap it and shit.
Hopefully it'll survive the dyno.
Yeah, I don't think it will. That needs to be short. So the upper intake manifold goes on now. Gasket first. Slap that down there. Nice and easy. And then this beautiful piece here. There's a few plugs that need to go in. Yeah, cheers, boss. Yeah, it's on there. Yeah, there we go.
Ooh.
Oh, is fluid coming out somewhere?
Yeah, fluid's coming out.
Yeah, that's all good.
Yeah.
It's probably just.
Oh, it's from the line, yeah.
The next thing we actually need to do before we put on that manifold is hook up this map sensor. So this is the Power FC map sensor, and unfortunately I fucking stepped on it and broke it. Now we need this to get the boost controller working, so we're just gonna kind of silicon it up and hopefully it does the job.
Come on, yeah, bounce with it. Just bounce with it. Come on, yeah, bounce with it.